Howard. I'm
Gary.
I'm looking forward to seeing what we're going to cover off here because you are so enthusiastic about everything you do with your business, and I've never had one single meeting yet, Howard, when you haven't sort of impressed me with your enthusiasm. So before we get started in this fantastic slot, come on then. What's the secret to loving your business? I know that's a lowballing question because we're going to do a little bit of an interview here, but secret to loving your business, bud.
Right. I suppose you've got to be passionate. I know it's a cliche, but passionate about what you do and um, be authentic. If you've got to be yourself. That's like one of my big rules in life is being yourself. Because like everybody else is taken, you just got to be yourself. And if you operate from that place and do the things that you enjoy and the things that you're good at and the things that I believe you're born to do, then it just makes life a lot better and a lot sweeter, I think.
Hmm, couldn't agree more. So, ladies and gents, we're going to do kind of a interviewee sort of panel sort of thing here. So, I've got a series of questions that we've gathered. So, let's go first one. And for Howard, for anyone that's new to you, just briefly tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
Right, absolutely. Well, I'm Howard Rushfirth. I'm the co-founder and director of Rushfirth Creative, which is a Yorkshire-based branding agency with a UK client base plus quite a few international clients. I've spent almost 4 decades working in the creative industry, working for people like Asda, Disney, Google, Nestle, and in the more recent years in my own business, working with a lot of SMEs and micro businesses. And we help them clarify and elevate how they show up every day, visually and strategically. We do that with personal branding images, brand identity design, which is kind of like your logos and stuff. And our personal sweet spot is where personal brand and business brands overlap because it's a really powerful. That's a lot of magic happens there when you can get the people involved with the actual graphics and stuff like that. When that comes together and works properly and is done by design, not by accident, then that's our sweet spot and what we like to do and what we do very, very well.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's us.
And when you say us, who's in the business with you?
Well, it's a partnership. It's me and my wife Catherine. We have had various sizes of company. We've had staff before, but we kind of got back to just the core of the two of us now, and we kind of feel that lean approach because at the end of the day, people kind of come to us for us anyway. So sort of rightly or wrongly, and sometimes there's a lot of stress when it's kind of all on you. But yeah, that's the way we do it. Yeah.
Love it, love it. So we get back to basics. What is a brand really? And why should small businesses even care?
Right. Well, the simplest way I can put it is a brand is basically your reputation, it's often said it's how people describe you when you're not in the room, and yeah, of course it can involve your logo, your website, and all that kind of stuff. But equally, it's about perception. It's about how you make people feel, feeling how you make them feel. Your brand is how you make them feel, and it's gives them an indication of what they expect from you and whether they trust you or not. And feeling is a really important thing because we are as a human being, we are inherently and fundamentally an emotional being. And we make, I believe, personally, I believe we make all our decisions on an emotional basis. Because even if you disagreed and said, well, I'm very logical, I'm very analytical, I base all my decisions and everything I do on logic. You know, if you're buying a car or something like that, you'll look at the spec, you'll look at all the stats and the reviews, and you'll make that choice on a purely logical decision. And when you've made that choice and you bought that car, you feel happy. That's an emotion. So you even if that end result, that where that little journey terminates is happiness. It's about emotion. I feel because if I didn't make those logical decisions, I'd feel awkward, uneasy, and so emotion and the way you feel is really important. So when you are dealing with a client or with a customer base, you want to be putting things out there that make them feel something emotionally. So that's what I believe a brand is, and that people buy from people. We have massive corporates, and they're all wanting to be touchy-feely and be like people and trying to pretend to be people. But the really good news is, if you're a small business, you are that person. So you've got a head start on all this on all this by just being yourself. And like with the personal branding side, I always say that it's not about developing a persona and putting a mask on. It's about actually finding out who you are and taking the mask off and presenting yourself to the world and saying, this is kind of me. I'm fun, I'm quirky, I do this, I do that, and actually really getting the real you out. And that's so important to us that that's our kind of mission, what we want to try and do. It's not about taking pretty photos or pretty logos. It's about actually creating something that tells your story and resonates with people and has some sort of fun and personality about it.
Mm. Like it.
Yeah.
Third question then. What are a few simple but powerful things businesses or business owners can do today to strengthen their brand?
Well, I'll just can I I'm all right to share screens on here, aren't you?
Yeah, of course you can.
So if I just let me do this. Is there a share screen button on here? Where's that on this
Uh,
new system?
uh, uh, Try looking. Mine's still at the bottom with me.
Oh, I've got it. I've got it. I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. I've absolutely got it. No, 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 no. That's it. So I mean, this kind of this is you asked the question. It's a great question. What are a few simple things that people can do? And this is actually, I don't. Can you all see that? It's basically it's a
Yeah.
logo. Trust Boiler Installation Specialist. Now this is a company. If you look to the top left corner, that was their original clip art logo with a terrible name. And they're happy if me say that because they came to us because it was a terrible name, terrible clip art logo and some big brown smear across the bottom that goodness knows what that's supposed to be. And they came to us and we developed a whole brand for them. They're in just outside of Aberdeen, out in the wilderness somewhere. And we wanted to try and get things that would tap into people's um emotions really, because it's got the patriotism of Scotland. They've got, people associate boiler and heating engineers with heating and water and that trust, the name trust, and it's trust the boiler because you can trust them. But we did it in a very, what I believe is a stylish and classy way. And so what we wanted them to do is get something that actually works, and then what I say is consistency across platforms. So this is a really big takeaway for me. If I can deliver that, is that you need to be consistent across your platforms. So every touch point that the general public or if it's corporate, the corporate world will see of what you do, is that consistency. Now it can be subdivided a little bit between different areas like platforms. Like you might have a certain way of dealing with things on LinkedIn and a certain way of dealing with things on Instagram. So even within in that you can subdivide it because different platforms warrant a different approach. But overall you've got to have something in place where you are consistent. So we did all his social media headers and banners and did his photography. And again, like that one where he's going like that, he's proud of his. He's a lovely man, and Scott Duncan. And he basically he's so proud of what he's got and his business and the whole lot. It's getting that energy into it and getting somebody that people. And so when him and his team turn up, people feel like they already know and like him because he's this great guy. I've seen you on the adverts, I've seen you on the Facebook page, and this, that, and the other, or on LinkedIn. So it's going across the platforms and getting everything to kind of match, not in a boring way, because they're all a little bit different, but getting things across all platforms. So that's one thing. Second thing, professional visuals. You know, try and get things done properly, get things done professionally, and I'd say probably do it yourself. rather than pay somebody a small amount to do it badly. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense, it's because there's quite a lot of people will kind of think, well, I can't do it myself, but I'm going to pay somebody, like £100 to do it. Just kind of do it for now, and really, really try and think of, have something in the end game where you need to get something done right, because it's really, really important that you look professional, and that your brand is really working for you. Thirdly, probably messaging. Make sure that the message that you're putting out there resonates with your audience, resonates with your customers, and don't baffle them with BS. You've got to be able to talk their language, and not hide behind buzzwords and nonsense. You've got to really be very clear in what you're selling and what you're talking about, and that people understand that they've got that it's tangible, that you're offering what they're doing. So that's kind of a few simple things. Consistency across platforms. Try and get professional, creative, and visuals and graphics if you can, and make sure your message is very, very clear. Clarity is everything.
Love it. So I can see that you've got I can speak on there on your tab. Are you allowed to share some of that I can stuff with
All right. Well, yeah. I mean that's actually Richard. Richard's um, probably one of our greatest success stories of Rushfirth Creative, actually, because I mean he was a school speaker, and he's one of the biggest, certainly one of the biggest speakers and speaker trainers in the UK. And we kind of create all his frameworks, all his graphics, um, and do all that kind of stuff. And it's about people buying to him, people buying to his personality, and we help get that across. And he pitches to all the big brands and works with all of them, successfully wins pitches on the work that we do for him with like one of the big, well, the biggest sports brand on the planet. He does all their training, well, a large degree of their training, and it's kind of that's the kind of the thing that we do for him, and do all his branding work, and he's the kind of person that we work with. Again, that's what we've got. That's that trust company. It's about all these touch points, getting it across everywhere that it appears. It's that consistency that's really, really important.
mm, mm. And when you look at these two guys here, I think I mean you do talk a lot about personal branding as well. So these guys are proud of what they do. You can see that in those photographs. So how does the personal branding work alongside the company branding?
Right, I love this question because, like I said, this is something that we specialize in, blending these two together, and I think a lot of people tend to be a bit worried, and that they think, well, what do I choose? Do I choose to brand me as the person, or should I brand the business, which is my focus, which is my priority? And I just sort of say, providing it's done strategically and it's done well, you should really do both, because like your personal brand is like it's like a magnet. It attracts trust, and again, it attracts emotion and energy, and it's that emotional energy where people will, it's when people will look at one person, look at another, and go, well, that other guy was cheaper and he seemed okay, but I really got that connection with you. I don't know why, and it's getting that connection. So you having you in it, in the middle of it, people think, well, that's a bit risky because I want to scale business, but we create hybrid brands that use a person's story and a person's like what I call an origin story, who they are, what they've done to get there. Even if they've got a company that's got quite a lot of people within it, it's the kind of values and core things that make that business unique, and the people, the staff within it, and it's about celebrating the people behind the brand. And it's kind of, even if you're planning to exit that business, you've got that succession where you can actually abdicate a little bit of it to somebody else and then bring them through, because you still want people in that business. And if you want to sell it on completely, you've got a model in place for the new people that come in, that they know that they've got a responsibility to that existing customer base, that it's going to be a people fronted business.
Yeah.
Even no matter, even if it's a big tech business or whatever business it is, people are really, really in this day of AI and all kinds of other things. People, are what people are gravitating to. They want that human connection with people, and that expertise, that USP that the people are within that business. So that's a kind of a quite a big deal for us is to sort of integrate the people with the logos. I mean, that's an example. Like these people here, we created the logo and the branding, and it's getting them into it and blending that together so people can resonate with the person and also the lovely, amazing graphics that actually help tell their story.
Mm. Mm. I love it. I love it. And finally, then, Howard, for those who are thinking, I know my brand needs some work, but I've got no idea where to start. What's their first step?
What's their first? I'd probably ask a few questions. Questions are really powerful things. If you can ask the right questions, um, then you're going to get quality answers and like things like what. Firstly, who are you? And get and it's quite introspective. You've got to think about who you are. If because we know that possibly on this call there's a lot of business owners, small businesses, micro businesses. So as a founder of a business, you can what do I? Who am I? What are my values? And what can I demonstrate to people about who I am and what I am and the real me? What do I want to be known for? What values and what thing do I want to be known for in this world? What difference am I going to make?
Mm.
Secondly, who am I really wanting to attract? Focusing on your avatar for your customer, absolutely vital. You've got to really think about who do I want to attract. That will really influence your messaging. And what the message is, you've got to be able to engage that rapport without even meeting them. You've got to engage visually, the kind of colors, the language, and things that they want. So that's quite an important thing. And then secondly, ask yourself, does my current brand reflect that? And if not, you got to start talking to the right people and actually making it happen.
Mm. Howard, always love hearing your words of wisdom. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's great. Thank you. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Gary.